Today on Rappler, a Filipino peacekeeper who arrived from Ebola-hit Liberia has a fever, but the health department says the Philippines remains Ebola-free. At the ASEAN summit, President Aquino calls on host countries to protect overseas Filipino workers. And after making history by landing on a comet, scientists say the space probe is working well. Hello, I'm Maria Ressa. We're coming to you from Iloilo, where the Philippine Spanish colonial past comes alive through its churches and ancestral homes. The river running through here left a rich heritage when it was a center of trade and commerce. Looking at an infrastructure boom and a 50% increase in investments, Iloilo seems set to move forward. This is Rappler's Wrap for the day, a list of the most important events around the world you shouldn't miss. The Department of Health, or DOH, says one of the Filipino peacekeepers who just arrived from Liberia has a fever. A fever is one of the symptoms of Ebola, but the DOH says the Philippines remains free of the deadly virus. The DOH says it's possible the peacekeeper is suffering from a relapse of malaria. 133 Filipino peacekeepers are in Caballo Island on a 3-week quarantine after arriving from Liberia November 12. With an estimated 10 million overseas Filipino workers, President Benigno Aquino urges host countries to better protect migrant workers. Speaking in Myanmar at the ASEAN +3 summit with Japan, Korea, and China, Aquino says migrant workers contribute significantly to the economies of their host countries. He adds, "We have a collective responsibility and moral duty to protect their human rights." Senator Grace Poe says ending hunger should be considered an investment for the future, not an expense. During Rappler's #ZeroHunger Forum, Poe quotes a social weather station's poll that found 43%, or an estimated 9.3 million Filipino families, consider themselves food poor.
Well, Goldman Sachs says that in 2050, the Philippines will be the 13th largest economy. But for us to be able to be competitive at that point, the workforce at that time should be intelligent enough, should be able enough, and they're not going to reach that potential if at the very beginning they are already hungry. So if the government is shying away from subsidies or incentives, we should be able to think of it as an investment for the future.
Businessman Felix Chu says Iloilo City is emerging as a bright spot for trade and commerce. Chu says the local economy grew by 50% since 2010, with the investments going largely to infrastructure and the BPO sector.
The economy in Iloilo is very vibrant right now. Iloilo has been so like a sleeping city before. And we are very lucky and blessed that some of the big names in the industry here in the Philippines came to Iloilo.
One major development, the Iloilo Convention Center, the ICC, is under scrutiny over allegations it was overpriced. Senate President Frank Drilon faces a plunder complaint over his project, but he denies the allegations. The senator says the government even saved money since the 1.74-hectare lot was donated by MegaWorld. Chu says MegaWorld's move makes sense.
In case of this MegaWorld investment, they give this ICC to the city and to the Department of Tourism to jumpstart their investment there, because it's a mixed-use development. They will have hotels, they will have malls, and that is a very good start. And to having business conferences.
A day after the European probe Philae made its historic landing on the surface of a speeding comet, ground controllers say it's working well. Philae touched down 3 times on the low-gravity comet, but it still managed to send back data for the European Space Agency flagship mission. For the full stories, click on the links on your screen. And for those of you watching on mobile, the links can be found on the titles on the article. You can also click on the tabs below to go to a story in the video. Every story on Rappler has a mood meter, which gives you 8 emotions to choose from. If you look at today's mood navigator in the middle of the front page, you see the story that's gotten the most number of votes is this one, Binay and Po by 2016. You have 31% angry, 40% sad. That gray bringing out the mood of the day. Today, most people are sad. Don't be sad, it's Friday. That is the wrap for today, Friday, November 14th, 2014. Visit Rappler.com for the latest news here and around the world. Check out our other shows, Tech Wrap and Talk Thursday. And if you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are coming to you from Iloilo. Remember to use #SharePH and #ShareIloilo. I'm Maria Ressa. As we say at Rappler, tomorrow begins today.